products and entering products. So they scan one product, enter the quantity, scan the next product, enter the quantity, scan the next product, enter the quantity. Usually is one, so there's not even entering the quantity. But that's a very repetitive process. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to have a cash register, okay? That's going to ask us for a product name, a quantity, and a price, and it should display the total for that product. And then we're going to have it display the total so far for the whole purchase. So we'll see how this unfolds. First, I'm going to receive input from the keyboard, so I will import the scanner. Okay, I'm going to call my program register. I'm going to use these those curly braces like this, starting here, ending there. You can put this curly brace up here. You can put it actually over here. That's going to really be executed. My public static void main string args, and then I'm gonna, because I'm using a scanner, I'm gonna create a variable called keyboard there. Okay, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the first product. Okay, I'm going to read the first. I'm going to create first. I'm going to create a variable to hold the product name. Okay, it's going to be a string product. Okay. Then I'm going to create a variable to hold the quantity, qty. I'm going to create a variable to hold the price of each item. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is this is the repeated part. I'm going to system out print product name, and then prod will become keyboard dot next line, right? Then I'm going to output system.out.println, enter the quantity, and for that my qty will become keyboard.next int. The next int, what it does is it gets the next number that I put in the keyboard. Okay, the next number that I put on the keyboard, and it returns that number as an int. If I say next line instead of keyboard next int, it will get the number, but it will return it as a string, and I don't need it as a string. I need it as an integer, so I can actually do computations with it. Okay, and then we're going to have then we're going to prompt the user for print line for enter price, and then price will be keyboard dot next double. It's the same as next int. It just returns whatever you put in there as a double. Okay. Now when you do these loops with the scanner, you can read on this, and this is part of the scanner, so I'm not going to get into this. At the end, once you've scanned everything that you want, is a good practice to say keyboard dot next line. What this does is the scanner basically is a buffer where you put a lot of stuff. Okay, when you say keyword next line, basically you clean the buffer, and then you're ready for the next set of scans. All right, and we're going to do this. Once I do this, remember, enter the product name, quantity, and price. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say system.out.println the product name, prod, the number of units, quantity, and then what I want to put is the total price. Now for the total price I need a computation, so I'm going to do this computation, and I'm going to leave it in a variable called total, or total item. Yeah, just total. So I need my variable total. See, I have it here, but I have not declared it. So I'm going to declare it now that I know I need it. Total equals quantity times price, right? And I'm going to do this as long as the product enter is not equal to end. So if I enter end, that means that as long as the product is not equals to end. So if I enter end, then it all, finishes. I could say while the price is not 0. I mean, there are many ways to end this. Okay, so let's test this. Let's compile this. Oops, I have a little error total. Oh, what kind of data is stolen? It's a double. I'm declaring it. All right. So now I'm going to run this, and it says enter the product name, carrots, enter quantity, 3, enter the price, $1.99, so this should be very close to $6. And it says carrots 3, $5.97, which is correct. Enter the product name, light bulbs, enter the quantity, 130. Enter the price, $5.99, and then it tells me light bulbs, 130, $778.7. Enter the product name, and some quantity, 3, some price, 2, and then it ends. Okay, it gives me this, but really what happened is it reached this condition and it ended. Now to make it a little bit more advanced, okay, I could have a grand total here. Double grand total, and in this grand total what I'm going to be accumulating is the total of all the items, and then I'll tell you what's the total of your whole purchase as opposed to tell you the total for each item and quantity. Okay, so by having this grand total here, what I'm going to do is after I print the total for each purchase, I'm going to add, let's say grand total equals grand total plus the total for this individual purchase. That way the grand total is going to be accumulating all the little totals, all the subtotals. Maybe we should call this subtotal. Subtotal, subtotal, and subtotal. So that subtotal is going to be added to the grand total at every point in time, and then once I exit the loop, I will print system.out.println your total is grand total. Okay, so let's compile this and run it. So enter the product name, carrots, enter quantity 10, the price is $5.99, no, 0.69 cents for each carrot, so it's $6.9. That's the double approximating. Another product, so milk, 2 gallons at $3.99. That's $7.98. Enter the product name. Bagels, enter the quantity 12, $2.55. Then I get $30.6. Enter the product name. That's it. And quantity price. All right. So it said your grand total is $57.48, and we have ourselves somewhat crude cash register. Okay, think if you can make it so that perhaps it ends before or not when you push end. Think of how can you make it so that if you don't enter a quantity, it assumes the number 1, for example, right? So think about those things and try to think of repetitive activities. This is a good example of the do-while loop. If you know that you have, say, 10 products, you can do a for loop or a while loop. Okay, that's it for do-while loops.